teach us how to love each other. Lift us to the joy divine.
You may be seated. I love poetry. And mystic poets have that truth within their calling. And Kabir was a 15th century Indian poet. And this poem, The Flute of the Infinite. The flute of the infinite is played without ceasing, and its sound is love. When love renounces all limits, it reaches truth. How widely the fragrance spreads. It has no end. Nothing stands in its way. Love. I love that we're in this time of spring. I love that we have the forethought to come together in peace and love. And as we've been looking at the 5 attributes of the Golden Key, which Emmett Fox established, which really his maxim is, if you have any problem, if there's any challenge, rather than focusing on the problem, focus on God. And so these Sundays we've been looking at these aspects, and this third one is God is love. Now we know this is truth. We know that. How would it be if we chose to let love be our guide every day of our life? Now, I think there's a challenge in this because, at least for me, it's like I wake up and it's like I'm in this human journey. And in the human journey, all of my senses are focused outside of me. What does it look like? What does it smell like? How does it feel? It's all pointed outward. But God's unconditional love, all that God is, has nothing to do with my senses. Has nothing to do with what is happening in my environment. And yet, God is everywhere present. So let's look at our co-founder, Charles Fillmore. And he says, it is the law of spirit that we must be that which we would draw to us. If we would draw to us love, we must be love. Be loving and kind. If we would have peace and harmony in our environment, we must establish it within ourselves. It seems simple enough. But the challenge is that life happens. And we forget this oneness with God that's so important. In truth, can we really have a full life if we believe there's anything more than one power? I don't believe we can. I don't believe we can experience oneness, love, joy, peace, abundance, and prosperity if we're believing there's more than one power. Is my fear more powerful than God? Does my fear really have any power at all? This is why it's important to look at this facility of power that we have. What we think, what we believe, creates our experience. If that sounds like I'm repeating myself, I am. Because every Sunday it's like there's really like 5 things to talk about, and I just keep talking about those same things. And they're all based in the law of spirit that God is love. Now, there's all kinds of love, but there's only one kind of divine love. God love is that unconditional love, where absolute acceptance no matter what. Now, it's easy to love those that we love. It's really easy to love those that we love. In my journey with my partner Owen, we've had 32 years of looking lovingly no matter what. Even in disagreement, even in health challenge, even in moving across the nation. Love no matter what. But how easy is it for us to focus that unconditional love on the neighbor keeps doing that thing that annoys us, or that boss, or that person we see on television that we have opinions about. It's important for us, if we want love, we need to be loving. That means being accepting. It means forgiving again. Now, this is not new. It's not new thought. We didn't just drum it up with Charles Fillmore waxing words on a page. No, it's been around a long time. And in Scripture, there's lots of places about love. And here we have 1 John chapter 4, verse 16. God is love, and those who abide in love abide in God, and God abides in them. That's pretty basic. God is, I am. God is, you are. It's like that simple prayer idea is a map to arrive where we already are. It's been written about and talked about, and we still resist accepting the truth. I'm getting better at remembering that God is love, that only love is true, that God is everywhere present, and that there's only one power. But I have to admit that there are times when I unhook from the truth and wallow around in my fear and my doubt and my lack, and not again. Why does this have to happen to me? Do you ever feel like that? That's giving our power, that's embracing something that isn't God. Because if God is love, God's not also corruption or disenfranchisement or a slippery slope. And we can accept this truth by choosing daily to remember that God is, I am. Because God is love. James Dillett Freeman was a wonderful minister, an incredible poet who's had 2 poems go to the moon on those moon missions in the 60s. There's very little that goes on those space capsules. Very little. And 2 separate trips, his poetry went to the moon. I think that's pretty amazing. So he's Unity's Poet Laureate. He was also head of the Unity School for many years, and he says, when we believe that God is love, we love. That is all. When we love, we give ourself and all we have. That might seem it's a little extreme, but that's what it takes. As spiritual explorers, as spiritual beings, as true students, we need to come to a place where we're willing to step in fully. We're willing to embrace the truth that God is love. Now, our co-founders, Myrtle and Charles Fillmore, in the late 1800s, very early in their relationship, sat down and wrote a covenant. And they basically said, okay, God, we give you everything. Everything that we have, everything that we are to you, God. And we expect that you will provide for us whatever we need, whenever we need it. Let's do it. Now, that's paraphrasing. It's a beautiful covenant. But they did this. They got to the place where they gave everything that they were to God. And then practiced their life, their play, their work, their joy, their relationship, their kids to God. And when we do this, we truly can love. Because then no one is a mistake. No one's a problem. No one's broken or unacceptable. We live in a society of us and them. We live in a society of dualism and challenge. When we clean the slate with love, we can approach people we have a disagreement with and accept that their opinion is just as valid as our own. And there's great power in that, because then we can be in the same room together. If we're not able to love, then we're just digging a little trench of me, myself, and I, and hunkering down to fight it out again and again and again. And as true students, we need to step out of this and awaken that God is. There's only one presence, one power in the universe and in our life. And then we can live, move, and have our life in God. God is, I am. God is, you are. It changes everything and changes very little. It's a change of perspective and attitude, but we still have to chop wood and carry water. The car's still going to need gas. We're still going to need to eat something a few times a day. We're still going to need to get sleep. All that living stuff's going to stay pretty much the same. But our mind will stop judging. Our mind will stop fearing. And our heart will start guiding us to an opportunity where we can find reconciliation. We can honor forgiveness as a tool that we can do every day. I love Martha Smock. She was head of Daily Word for many, many years. In her wisdom, she's a wise woman. To love one another is to behold God in another. To see beyond the little self to the greatness that is always trying to break through. If we take an attitude that love is, we can see that in anyone, where we might otherwise have had a judgment or opinion of they're not worth my time. There is no one not worth our time. And I actually think that I get deeper spiritual food when I can focus my forgiveness and my energy, sharing my love with people I used to think of as enemies. Or as, oh, they're so different from me. They don't understand me. And all I need to do is open my heart and go, how am I being not understanding of them? This is our role as people in a wonderful community that holds these spiritual truths as law. Whenever we behold another, you don't behold someone in fear, you behold them in love. And to bring this discussion to a close, I draw upon the wisdom of Thomas Merton, a great author, a great theologian. And he says, to say that I am made in the image of God is to say that love is the reason for my existence. For God is love. Love is my true identity. Selflessness is my true self. Love is my true character. Love is my name. My name is love. Let's say that. My name is love. How does that feel? It does feel good. Because after we've looked at some of these ideas and whatever's come up in our heart and our mind in this discussion, it's waking us up to that this is love with a capital letter. It's not puppy love or manipulative love or temporary love. It's divine love. And when we do honor and accept that we are in the image and likeness of God, of love, that's our very makeup. And this is so important as part of our journey of looking at the golden key. No matter what the problem, no matter what the challenge, no matter what the fear, no matter what the doubt, no matter what the lack, God is. Just turn our focus to God. And if God is a concept that's just too big to look at, because sometimes it's really big, turn to love. Turn to complete acceptance. Turn to owning that we are in the right place. God puts us in the right place at the right time to address whatever we need to address. And then we can walk together. Because where two or more are gathered, we can join together and find how can we better serve our community? How can we better serve the greater community How can we better serve our neighborhood? Because loving is not an act we just go, love. It takes action. It means doing something. And our hearts are wired in God. And God will give us exactly what we need to do, whatever we need to do to extend love into the world. And it might be loving the planet. It might be loving the people that you're in line with at HEB. It might be awakening that love is exactly where you are whenever you are. Sitting in the dentist chair with your mouth open, love. Love will change us. Love is. So let's take these ideas, this reflection, into meditation. And allow the unity singers to allow us to settle into this now moment.
Go within. Go within. Go within. Go within. Go within. To the one inside. Go within. Let it be your guide. Go within. Touch the truth. Go within. Go within. Know it's you. Go within. Go within. Go within. Go within.
Going within. Resting here now. Breathing in and breathing out. setting everything aside and just being present now. There's a deep well of peace within us. Be there now. There is a recognition and knowing of love within us. Be there now. I invite you to ask yourself, ask your deepest self, am I ready and willing to let love be my guide no matter what? Am I willing to open up my heart and let the intelligence of my heart guide me through every circumstance? Spring is a time of renewal, of God's infinite presence in life, color, and sense. This is where we are. Open ourselves to the presence of God's love everywhere present now. And as we again invite in that simple prayer that Steve offered in the gathering prayer, breathing in, God is. Breathing out, I am. God is. I am. God is love. I am love. God is love. I am love. God is love. I am love. Let's take that breath into the silence. With grace and honor, we accept that there is only one presence, God. That we are the children of God. that God is love, and I am love. This golden key is expanding my awareness. And we choose to take from whatever we've received in this journey of how to inform our day, our week, our life. And so as we shift to our regular breathing, we awaken ourselves by wiggling our fingers and wiggling our toes, rolling our head. And when we're ready, we open our eyes, awaken, and then we'll affirm the affirmation that goes with today's talk. Together, I live my life from the love that I am. I live my life from the love that I am. I live my life from the love that I am. And so it is.